So last day we started talking about area and surface area. So area is the amount of space something takes up. And we use the word area for a two-dimensional object, and the objects that we work with in grade 8 are squares, rectangles, circles, and triangles, and each one of them has the unique formula to figure out what the area is, right? So area rectangle, half times base times height. Area of a circle, pi times your radius squared. And square and rectangle are very similar formulas, length times width or length times length. You don't need to memorize them. You'll be given to you, all right? And then we start looking at 3D versions of these objects. So you start looking at 3D versions. We don't use the word area. We use the word surface area because you want to know how much space does the outside of the object take. And all we do is kind of figure out what shape is it. Is it a circle? Is it a rectangle? Is it a triangle? For each of those sides, figure out the area of each of the sides and add them all up. That's it. So the hardest shape that you come across in grade 8 is this one. It looks like a house. Right? And there's lots and lots of different sides, so lots and lots of calculations we have to do. So I'm going to do a sample one with you here, then we'll go on to doing the 3D ones on our assignment. Right, so remember, we need to kind of go through a logical order to make sure we get all the sides. Right, so I'm going to start off with this first side. I don't know, start off with the roof of this house. I've got this, I'll label it A. I'm going to shade it in here. What shape is A?
A square.
Not a square.
Rectangle.
Rectangle. So I'm going to draw out A. So you're going to have to kind of be all over the place here. I'm going to draw out A. And I'm going to go, okay, my A is a rectangle. I need to know how big each of the sides of the rectangle are to figure out what the area is. How big are the length and the width of this rectangle?
53 and 25.
53 or 5.3. Sometimes the decimal is hard to read. So 5.3 and 2.5. So 2.5 and 5.3. This is A. Our calculation for this rectangle is length. So I'm going to go area of A. I'll put a little A down there. It's length times width, and that's 2.5 times 5.3. We grab our calculator and come up with that number. Yeah, come on up. 2.5 times 5.3, 13.25. Right? Then what we did is we kind of looked ahead and go, hey, we want to save ourselves some work. Right? And the way we save ourselves work is like, do I need to repeat this calculation again?
No.
Does this shape repeat itself anywhere else?
The bottom.
Sorry?
The bottom.
The very bottom? So the very bottom would also be a rectangle, but it wouldn't be the same rectangle. On the very bottom, it'd be 5.3 going this way, but 4.2 going this way.
Why?
Huh? Because the bottom is this side and this side. So this side is the same as 4.2, not the same as 2.5. Right? So A does repeat itself, but where? Where does it repeat itself?
At the bottom with A that right angle triangle.
No, so if you imagine this, I don't know. How do we do this?
Next box.
Phoenix box and a piece of paper maybe. So if you imagine this as a house, and A is the roof of the house right here. Does this get repeated anywhere else?
On the opposite
On
side.
the opposite side. Right? So there's an A here, and also an A right here. Okay.
Huh?
It's the same shape, right? So there's two of these. So we need to double this because there's two of them. So double 13.25, 26.5. And the units here are meters squared. Right? And I'll just highlight these or underline these, my totals. Okay. Then we move on. And something to be helpful here is instead of just jumping around all over the place, maybe pick a section. Okay, I started on the roof. So let's finish off the rest of the roof. So I did this roof, this side, I've done this side. Now I still need to do this in here.
It's like a barn area.
Like a barn. Right, so I still need to do this. All right, and I'll call this side B. Okay, and what shape is side B?
A right angle triangle.
A triangle. And if we want to do calculations with triangle, so I'm going to go area of side B. I'll put a little B there, right? We need to know, where's my formulas? We need to know what the base is and the height. What's the base? What's the height of this triangle?
The base is 4.2
Yeah.
and the height is 1.
1. So the base is the distance going along the bottom, and the height is the distance going up, and our formula is 0.5 times base times height. So you have 0.5 times 4.2 times 1.0.
Wouldn't that just equal 4.2?
It would not equal 4.2.
Oh,
It would be half of 4.2.
so 2.1.
2.1. Now, does this
Yes.
side repeated
On the other side.
on the other side? So right over here. So there's two of these. There's another B right there, hidden in there. So I'm going to multiply this by 2. So double 2.1, 4.2.
Sounds right.
Well, sort of. I'll highlight that as well. Okay.
You're not Castle, don't say I suck.
So now-
It's inappropriate.
The roof of the house. Gosh, don't look that way.
Hey Castle, look away.
The roof of the house is done. Now we need to do, I don't know, the
C.
main story, whatever you want to call it.
The bottom floor.
The bottom floor,
Because that's the attic.
right? The attic is done.
So the main floor.
So let's start off with this side. What shape do we have here?
2 point rectangle.
Rectangle, we'll call this side C. We have a rectangle. How big are each of the lengths and the widths for the rectangle?
2.2 and 4.2.
2.2 and 4.2. There you go. Area of side C. So notice I'm doing like little lower cases here, right? And it's length times width is our formula. So you have 2.2 times 4.2. We get a number out with our calculator. What do we? 9.24. All right, 9.24. All right, then we go. Is this repeated?
Yes.
Yes. On the other side, so if you go this side of the house and the other side of the house, there's two of them. You say there's another side C.
1848.
1848. Double that. Okay. All right. So we're almost there. I haven't colored this in, so we'll call that side D. And maybe I'll color that in pink. Right? Oh, on my screen it's pink. The projector's not so nice. The colors. So another rectangle here. How big are the sides for this rectangle?
5.3 and 2.2.
So 5.3 here, up and down is 2.2. So 5.3, 2.2. area of side D is length times width. Is 2.2 times 5.3. Has anybody done that number? 1166. Thank you. And we double it because there's two of them. So that's what number? 2332.
What? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
30. Oh, yeah.
All right. Meter squared. Okay. Are we done?
No.
What's left?
The bottom and the in between the bottom and in between the main floor and the top.
So close. Just the bottom.
What about the perimeter of the roof? Like around the roof?
Like in between here, this is like the rectangle that exists here. So remember the word surface area means to the outside. So that doesn't exist, but this one does because this is on the outside of the shape. Right? So E be 5.3 in one direction. How big is it in the other direction?
4.2.
4.2. All right. So area of E, length times width, 5.3 times 4.2. So how much? 2226.26. And there is only one of these, right? There's only one on the bottom. So no multiplying by 2, no multiplying by 3. So now all we have to do is find the total surface area, and we have to add up all those numbers. And if you add up all those numbers, let's see, we got 2650 plus 4.2 plus 1848.
94.76.
Sorry? 94.76
0.76.
meters squared. That sounds right. For plus 23.32, I'll double check, plus 22.26. Yeah, no, I got the exact same number, 94.76. That's it. Okay, so these questions are a bit more painful because there's a lot more calculations you have to do. There is 3 of them I want you to do. So go back to your day 1 assignment. There's 3 questions. We're going to go back to our notes. All right. So page 1, you're already done. On to page 2 of day 1.
I have nothing to show you for a
I trust you. It's okay. It's okay.
No, page 2 or page
Day 1, page 2.
Okay, we're back there.
Before we start the seventh diagonal.
Yeah. So you're doing the 3D shapes, right?
Are all of them 3D?
Yeah, all of them are 3D.
So I have to do all of them?
Yeah, all 3 of them. Right? So I'm hoping I left enough space for you to draw things out and do calculations.
Mr. Dhaliwal.
Yes.